I find myself unable to say good evening without adopting the Alfred Hitchcock voice. Hi, I'm April. This is Doom Power Yoga. I'm sitting up on a little cushion. I highly recommend it. It's a lot easier on your hips to do so. If you have yoga blocks and stuff that you use in your practice, please go ahead and grab those and feel like you should use them if it makes sense for you. But I didn't have any specific plan to use that stuff today. I know there's a couple new folks kind of popping in. This is a slightly faster paced class than some of the other offerings than I do, but you get to move at your own pace because you came to yoga to feel good, not to torture yourself. And so please just feel free to take liberties and modifications and skip stuff and take a Shavasana break in the middle, whatever you got to do. Okay. Shavasana is you just lay on the floor and pray or relax. Going through practice today, we're going to do kind of a full body practice. We'll do a lot of hips, so it should be really good for releasing some low back stuff. And as far as coming into our theme and our intention for practice today, I keep trying to tell the short version of this story. I was talking to one friend, and the one friend has had a bunch of the stuff happen, like the gross, traumatic stuff. And my other friend and I are really into a lot of yoga philosophy, and we're saying, hey, dude, watch the stories that you tell yourself about the stuff. And he got really defensive. He's like, I'm not telling myself a story about this. This stuff really happened and it's really impacting me. And we're like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Watching the stories that we tell ourselves is not rewriting what is reality, because we've been talking for so long about being with what is, right? I have not been practicing a lot of really intense inversions and arm balances lately. So if I just tell myself a story that everything's going to be fine and I should go ahead and do handstands and one-armed pinches in the middle of the room, I'm going to be in big trouble because that story is not grounded in reality. But if I tell myself the story that I'm never going to be able to do them again because I haven't been doing them lately, I'm going to have a very different result than if I tell myself that with continuous application and care, I might get back into a place where I'm doing some of the stuff that's just kind of fun to do with the body. And the way that we ended up discussing this with my friend and kind of bringing him around a little bit in this concept, I hope, was that, dude, you've already told yourself a different story than you could have about the things that you've gone through with your family. You could have said, as many people do, well, I've had a shit upbringing, so I'm just going to continue to bring a whole bunch of pain and misery into the world because that's all that I know. Instead, my friend is one of the most big-hearted people that I've ever met. He has decided, because he experienced so much heartbreak, that he would do whatever possible to bring about love and connection and community and acceptance into every relationship that he develops. So we said, there you go. You've already told yourself a different story about this. So what stories do we need to work on to help you work with, the thing? Because there's always a thing, right? Whether it's, my hamstring's tight and it's never going to be open again, or my hamstring's tight and I just need to be careful with it. It's kind of just being observant of the way that we approach these things, of the narrative that we get invested into. So if you find yourself needing to take a break at any point, it's not, shit, I'm a terrible yogi. It's, oh, look at this. I get to have a little bit of rest in the middle of my yoga class. How awesome is that? There's not even anybody here to stare at me while I do it. Sweet. Let's start with face brushing. So you're going to take your index finger and your thumb together. Right at the bottom of your thumb is this squishy spot, and then bring that to the center of your forehead. Brush outwards towards your temples a few times. Then going from the sides of your nose out to your temples, along your cheekbones. And from your temples down to your chin, along your jawline. Last one, from the sides of your nose down to your chin, along your laugh lines. May they be forever deepening with lots and lots of practice. And then take your fingertips, you're gonna bring them right behind your ears, and there's a soft spot that's down towards the bottom of your ears. And then if you work upwards from that point, there is a bony spot, and in between those bony spots is where your skull and your spine come together. So I like to think of lifting up behind the ears as a nice way to lift the spine that doesn't cause tension as much so in the back of the neck. So I say that all the time, lift your ears up, and that's what I'm getting at there. So go ahead and keep those ears lifted. Take a nice big breath in and rest your hands down in your lap. If you were deciding to unmute for Om, this would be the time. If you don't want to Om, or you just want to scream primally or death metally, you're also welcome to do that. And settling into a few deep breaths here. Moving the air in and out through your nose. In practice today, much of what I say will be matched. A movement for an inhale and a movement for an exhale. And just do the best we can with that. Slow your breath down if you need to. Let's take a nice inhale through the nose together. Big exhale through the mouth. Again, like that. For 3 Oms. Welcome to practice, friends. Go ahead and hit that mute button if you have unmuted. Thanks for joining us. This little nugget is Jezebel. She likes to run across screen, bark at fairy farts, and lick my face during practice, but she's cute, makes up for it. Go ahead and bring the soles of your feet together. Just going to change up the position of the legs a bit here. We're going to take a slow flow to start off with. Lift your arms up and take a breath in. And then twist over towards the right as you exhale. So you want your right hand in nice and close to you. I'll try to mirror you as best I can for most things. You want to feel the backs of your ears lifting up as you breathe in, and then soften your belly as you exhale. And one more breath as you exhale, relax your inner left thigh. And inhale, come back to center, lift up. Exhale, twist over towards your left. So you want to keep your head right up above your hips, keeping the spine long. And if you soften your belly, it often lets this twist develop a little bit more deeply. One more exhale. Then inhale, lift your arms up. Take your arms down first, just so it doesn't get too tense in the back, and then go ahead and relax your spine forward. And do think of relaxing your spine forward. We want to soften all of those muscles in the back of the body, all of that stuff that holds us up with so much strength. One more exhale. And then inhale, lift the arms up. We'll pick this up a little bit. One breath, one movement. Exhale, twist. Oh, I lied a little bit. Stay here, inhale. Stay here, exhale. So you have that a little extra bit to twist more. Then inhale, lift up. Exhale, twist over towards the left. Stay here as you breathe in. Stay here as you breathe out. Back to the center, breathe in, lift up. Take your hands down, exhale, soften your body forward. Stay here for a round of breath. Allow yourself to soften with your breath out. When you get to your inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, twist over towards the right. Stay there, breathe in, get taller. Stay there, breathe out, get twistier. Inhale to the center, lift up. Exhale, twisting to the left. Taller as you inhale. More twist as you exhale. Inhale to the center. Exhale, hands down, and then let the body follow so you can be a little softer about that extension forward. Stay through your exhale. And then inhale, lift your arms up. Again, twist to the right, exhale. Inhale, taller. Exhale. Inhale, back to the center. Exhale, twist to your left, right? This is the right. Left, sorry. Whatever way you're twisting, stay there as you exhale. Oh, thank you. Inhale to the center. Arms down, body goes forward. Exhale, stay here for a breath in. Stay here for a breath out. We'll go one more time. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, twisting over towards your right. Stay there, breathe in. Stay there, breathe out. Back to the center, inhale. Twisting to the left, exhale. Inhale, lifting the backs of the ears. Stay as you exhale. Inhale, arms lift up. And then go ahead and take the hands down. Go ahead and soften forward. Relaxing the back of your neck. And start to lift yourself up. We're going to take yourself off of your seat. So if you've been sitting up on anything, as I suggested, go ahead and move that off to your side. You can use it to put it underneath your knees if you're on a harder surface. I've got like a lot of carpet padding, so I don't so much bother with that. We're going to come out onto the hands and knees. Spread your fingertips out and push the floor away from the backs of your armpits. So you're practicing having a nice strong upper back. And try to keep that lift off of your arm bones. As you inhale, drop the belly, look up into cow pose. Exhale, round the spine into cat pose. So inhale, looking up, lifting your tail. Exhale, lifting your belly as high up to the sky as you can. Do 3 more on your own breath. Now we start to move a little bit more, one breath, one movement. And this is where you develop that capacity to alter the pace of your practice so it doesn't always have to match what I'm doing or what anybody else is doing. When you get to your next inhale, go ahead and flatten your spine. You're going to spread your fingertips out even more. Press down from your armpits into your hands. We'll go back to downward facing dog. So when you get here, you probably have to wiggle things out a little bit. This might be the first one you've done today. Maybe your calves are tight or your hips are tight or everything about this seems counterintuitive. You can bend your knees, you can wiggle your tail out, try to relax your head. Keep pushing from armpits down into your hands. Take a breath in and a breath out. Go ahead and softly lower those knees back down. I'm gonna use, let's say left leg first, because that way I can face you in part of this. You're gonna take your left foot forward outside of your left hand. Then wiggle your fingertips or your toe tips a little bit further forward. Then your fingertips are gonna go a little bit forward, but not super far forward, because I want your heart to now reach pretty far forward. You're thinking of your chest moving forward and then pushing down into your left foot. Maybe you feel the left thigh bone slide back in the hip socket ever so slightly. And then you have a little bit of freedom in your upper butt, which is exactly where you think it is. One more exhale. You can always have blocks under hands if that's gonna help you out. That's gonna make this more pleasant. We're gonna scooch the left foot in a little bit more and then keep the right arm down as you lift the left arm up into a twist. Now again, push down in the left foot and feel your thigh bone pulling back in the hip socket a little bit. Then maybe you can soften your belly and twist a little bit deeper. We're just gonna do this for fun to see if it works out. It's a little bit weird of a transition. Push down in your left foot, get your heart up above your hips. Ooh, man. And then bring your hands to your heart. If it's hard for you to twist with the hands together, you'll just take your left hand down to your hip, but see if you can bring your right elbow down to your left knee. The earbuds are perpetually falling out. Push down in that right elbow. Feel your heart lift up. If you are feeling like you want to do so, and the answer could be no, You might curl the back toes and lift the back knee, and then you're going to feel your inner thighs lift. In fact, you can lift the inner thighs whether or not your knee is on the ground, because you're going to help feel that pelvis become more balanced that way, right? Big exhale. And lower that knee down. Unwind your twist. Plant your hands. Slide the left knee back to meet the right. In fact, you're going to walk your knees back a little bit more, so you're in a slightly longer plank. Now open your collarbones like you're trying to press the tops of your shoulders out to the walls or to the air or the trees beside you, depending on where you're at. And then draw the fronts of your hips up to meet your lower ribs. I mean, they won't really, but they're going in that direction. And take a big breath in. As slow as you can, lower down onto the belly, which might be a lot faster or a lot slower than me. I don't know what you got going on there. Wiggle your legs back, untuck your toes. Take your hands a handprint wider than they were before. We're gonna come up into wide cobras. Inhale, slither your heart forward until it lifts up. So it's not shoulders up like you got bit by the cobra, you're traveling like the cobra. Exhale, lower. 2 more, inhale, up nice and wide. Exhale, lower. Inhale, heart reaches forward. Exhale, lowering down. And then bring your hands a handprint in again so that they're by your low ribs. You're gonna lift your hips up, feel the fronts of your hips going towards your low ribs, and then push the floor away until you're no longer on it. Curl your toes under, reach back into downward facing dog. Pushing from armpits down into hands, relaxing your heels, relaxing your head. Deep breath in, big loud sigh. Lower your knees. And then you're going to take your right foot outside of your right hand. You might even wiggle the toes a little bit forward. Then you're going to take the fingertips a bit forward. And then your heart is going to keep reaching forward. As you push down into the right foot and feel your thigh bone maybe sliding back in the hip socket a little bit. Feel your heart reaching out just a little bit more as you inhale. Exhale, soften a bit, wiggle your right foot back in a little bit more so it's not quite as wide. You're going to leave the left arm down and reach the right arm up. Then push into the front foot, feel your left ribs rolling a little bit closer towards your right leg. Maybe it's an almost imperceptible physical difference, but the feeling changes. Then look back, reach your right arm back. You're going to come up hard above your hips. Big exhale. Then hands together, taking your left elbow down to your right knee, and that might mean that you put your right hand at your right hip just to give you a little bit more space. Keep pushing down in that front foot. Lift your inner thighs. Maybe you lift the back thigh all the way up off of the mat. Feeling this right thigh pulling back. It's going to want to swing out to the side. Try not to let it. Exhale. Lower the knee down. Unwind your arms. Bring the hands down. Bring the knees back. And you want to find yourself in this kind of long plank pose. Draw the belly in. This time lower just halfway down so your elbows touch your ribs. And then you're going to straighten or straight-ish your arms so you can keep them a little bit softer where your hips are softer. If you're not quite so warm, or you can practice lifting the heart up here. Go ahead and curl the toes under, press your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Relax your head, push strong into your arms from the backs of your shoulders. I like to think of armpits pushing down into hands. Big exhale. Looking forward, stepping your feet up to your hands, coming out into a fold. Bend your knees, relax your head down. Maybe rock back and forth on your feet, just kind of changing your weight a bit. Bring your fingertips up to your shins, roll your shoulders back, heart goes forward, tailbone goes back. We lift the heart. That's the half that lifts up here. On your exhale, soften everything back down. And then inhale, stand all the way up. Lift your arms. Lift your heart. Lift the fronts of your hips. And then bring your hands down to your heart. We're going to do a little bit of balance work before you get tired because I want you to feel really active and lifted. But first, wiggle your feet out. So I'm going to kind of roll around on the toes. I just turn to face you because it makes more sense than facing away from you when I can. And roll in both directions. So you want to try to get onto the toenail side of your foot, which is weird, which might not feel great. Be easy on yourself. And then do the other foot. Things you probably never do. But because you probably never do it, probably your metatarsals are tight. They don't wiggle as easily. Oh, did I go in both directions? I don't know. Okay. And then you're here. So when you have like all that wiggling that goes on when you're trying to balance, that's not because your body is doing a crap job of balancing. It's because your body is fine-tuning and seeking out exactly the right spot you should be balanced in. So it's working for you. It's good when you wiggle. It's the process of finding the not wiggle, right? Pick a leg. Put it up on the inside of your calf or the inside of your thigh. You get to choose. Don't worry about which it is. And then you're going to feel the fronts of your hips lifting up. Let's start with arms open. And play a little bit of it's fairly random, this arm game. Yeah. And you bend your left elbow. Bend your right elbow. Drop your left hand down. Switch sides. Are you breathing? Are you lifting? Are you lifting up the backs of your ears? Can you straighten the arms? Can you switch sides with the arms? Are you continuously driving your standing leg down into the floor, lifting up the fronts of your hips? Take both arms up. Draw your elbows out and back. Feel your heart opening up without dropping the front of your pelvis, which is so stinking hard. And then inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, hands come down. See if you can lift your leg up to set it down and then give a little bounce. Hopefully you don't feel too tight here. If you feel really tight in this outer hip, you're building strength or you're sitting in the hip a little bit too much. So just be cognizant of that. We'll go other side. So calf is great. Thigh is also an option. I do find the higher the leg is, the easier it is to reach that thigh bone out, which also draws in some of this hip lifting. Let's take the arms open. Turn your palms to face up. Lift your ears. Turn your palms to face down. Check if you're still breathing. Walk like an Egyptian. Switch it. Reach the arms up and open. And get one arm up higher. Switch it. Oh, I feel myself lifting up more. Let's do both arms up, getting a little bit taller. Keep lifting the fronts of your hips. Maybe you could even look up. It might be just the eyeballs. If you move the head, it's going to make it a little bit more spicy. Check the breath. Bring the arms forward. Bring the hands down. Push the hands into each other. Feel your chest lifting up as well. And then go ahead and take your leg down. A couple wiggles. Good. All right. We're going to get back into our flow, starting to build up a sequence. So find the front of your space. I'm going to take a big breath in, lift the arms, lift the front of your hips as well. You want to create a little heart opening with this. As you exhale, fold yourself down. Inhale halfway up. And then you're going to plant your hands. You're going to step your left leg back as long as you can. You're just going to keep the lunge. Inhale, reach your heart forward. Practice pulling the right thigh back. Let's stay here for another breath. So you're really feeling not like your hips are going to the side, but that you're pulling it back and getting as long as you can. Then by whatever amalgamation of body parts you need, you're going to step back into plank pose. So sometimes your hips might lift up like that. It might not be super slide, but we might move to that soon. You're going to move forward to your tiptoes. Answer yourself honestly, should I go to my knees? And if you do, you should go to your knees. We're going to go all the way to the floor first time. Go all the way down. And then toes are back and you're going to slither forward with your heart into cobra pose. Exhale, soften it back down. Lift your hips, lift your belly. You can keep your knees on the ground or not. Push up to plank pose. Then press back downward facing dog. Release those heels down, release your head. There's many variations of chaturanga vinyasa transitions, and you get to make up your own. It's like going to a festival and maybe you don't have time or interest to see every band, so you just go to what makes sense to you, right? Let's inhale, reach the right leg up, look forward, step your right foot up to the front of your mat, and if it only got there, you grab it and you scooch it. Let's come up high lunge, lift those inner thighs, push down into the front foot. So the lifting of the inner thighs keeps the pelvis more stable. Let's twist over towards the right side. The arms are gonna open. My arms are at more like 4 or 5 o'clock than 6 o'clock. Keep the lift of the inner thighs, reaching the arms up, face towards the front. See if you can stay low in that front leg as you open into warrior two. Maybe you get lower. And relax your shoulders. We're gonna shift the feet facing open towards the wide side of the mat. So you're gonna turn all 10 toes to face, then lift the arms up. And there's another little foot shift. You're gonna take your back foot, turn it out a little bit, and you're gonna come into skandasana or side lunge. So for a lot of us, this is gonna be plenty. You can also take your hands down to the ground if you like. You can also take your hips down on the inside of this leg. Maybe your hands come to your heart when you do it. When you get all the way down here, I would suggest lifting the toes up. But if you are up with your hips here, reach the pinky toe edge of that foot down. It's gonna help to stretch your outer ankle. And we're all gonna come up. If you're all the way down in your hips, I'm gonna push down in your hands just to give yourself a boost. Unless you're feeling super frisky already, go for it. The legs will face forward, reach your arms up again, or the toes will face forward. And then you're gonna shift the feet, keeping the legs straight. I'm shifting my hips as well. I'm gonna come out into triangle pose. So I have my top hip slightly tilted over to give a little bit more space in my low back, and then reach the arm out from the shoulder. A little more side stretch. We're gonna turn this into a twist. You're gonna bend into your right leg, take the left hand down. You gotta pivot up onto the back toes, and then reach your right arm up into the air. I find this next transition is easiest when I hop my back foot up a little bit and then move the hand forward rather than trying to move this right foot. What I'm gonna do here is turn the right knee and toe out to the side and then release my hips down, reaching towards the back foot. Yeah. We'll do it again on the other side, you'll see. Lift the hips up again, reach that arm up and over. You're gonna turn forward, turn your right foot forward, bring your left foot forward and fold. What a journey. And exhale. Halfway up, inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, fold down again. All the way up, inhale, lift the front of your hips, lift your heart. Exhale, hands down at the heart. Let's build this again on the other side. Inhale, lift it up. Exhale, forward fold, bend your knees. Inhale, lift the heart up and forward. Exhale, hands plant, step your right leg as far back as it'll go and wiggle it longer if you have the space for it. And then inhale, reach your heart forward. Exhale, stepping back to plank. Maybe you try to keep your body a little bit more stable as you do, or maybe that's something that you tell a story that you'll get next time, or a year from now. So you're gonna inhale, heart goes forward. Exhale, all the way to the belly or halfway into chaturanga, and then inhale into up dog. You can do it up on the tops of your feet. I had the thighs down the first time because sometimes it's a little easier just to lift the belly and not get like a big hinge in the back. I'm gonna press back in a downward dog. Okay, I have good news and I have bad news. You don't have to do any more chaturanga back bend down dogs. You could go straight to down dog anytime I say plank pose. So that's the good news. And the bad news was if you hated all of those, you didn't have to do them to begin with because, again, this is your own adventure. Yeah. On your inhale, take your left leg up. Look forward, left foot comes up to the front of the mat. So you're gonna find this nice long lunge. You're not on a tightrope. You've got some space in between the legs. Lift your arms. Now lift your inner thighs. See how I got a little bit taller, a little longer. Open into a twist. Now relax your shoulders. But don't relax this front foot because it's helping to hold you up. Inhale, take the arms up. Exhale, warrior two. Try to stay low and keep that left knee from falling in. It wants to follow you. Don't let it follow you. We're going to pivot the feet to face out towards this wide side of the mat. Toes straight, face that straight, toes this way. And turn the right toes out. You're going to sit back, hips are up, hands might be down, hips and hands might be down, palms might be at your heart. And if you're getting the hips all the way down here, try to find a place where your heel is on the ground. So you might have to wiggle a little bit with some gratuitous booty shaking around. And then if you have your booty all the way down, I would recommend putting the hands down to give you a little boost. But if you don't need it, you don't have to take it. You never have to listen to me. Let's come up, all 10 toes face this wide side. From here, the feet shift, the legs stay straight, the hips shift, coming into triangle pose. And reach your ears away from your tailbone. Send your tailbone down and back beyond your back foot. Take an inhale to reach your right arm up and overhead. And then you're going to use the exhale to bend into your left leg and pivot up onto your right toe. We'll take the arm up as you pull the thigh bone back. Good. Then you're going to scooch the hand forward, the foot forward. I find that to be the easiest transition as you turn the foot over and drop your hip down. It doesn't have to go to the floor. It just doesn't have to. You just move as much as you have space for. I've been doing this all week. And inhale, lift the hip up, lift the arm up, and curl yourself all the way around. 2 hands down, 2 feet forward, relaxing into a fold. Roll your shoulders back halfway up. Exhale, soften it down. Inhale all the way up, lift the fronts of your hips, your heart. Exhale, hands at your heart. Whew. It is toasty in here. This is going to get a little bit more toasty. We're going to start to build this up to mostly one move, one breath. So adjust as you need. Take the chaturangas out. Take a child's pose. Just lay flat on the floor. Do what you gotta. We'll repeat this a few times and hopefully work out some of those kinks. Let's start here with a big breath in. Lift the arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway up, breathe in. Heart goes forward. It's the left leg that steps back. Exhale. Inhale, heart forward. Exhale, slide it back to plank. You can go to down dog, table, or child's pose, or inhale, open your heart. Exhale, elbows into the ribs, over to the belly. Inhale, open your heart. Exhale, downward facing dog. Push from the armpits into the hands, long spine, breathe in. Exhale, relax your head and your heels. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward. Don't be on a tightrope. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, twist to the right. Inhale, back to the front. Stay low, stay open in the knee. Warrior two, exhale. Inhale, 2 straight legs, turn to the side. Exhale, Skandasana. Bringing it on down. Do a little boost. Inhale, coming back up. Shift the feet and the hips. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, reach that arm up and over, long at the ears. Exhale into a twist, bend the knee, lift the heel. Inhale, right arm up. Exhale, scooch it forward. Drop your hip down. Turn that right knee and toe out. Inhale, lift the hips up. Curl yourself all the way forward into a fold. Relax everything you can. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, softening it down. All the way up. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the hips. Hands at the heart, exhale. Let's keep going. Inhale, lift. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway up, inhale. Hands down, exhale, step the right foot back. Heart leads forward, breathe in. Exhale, step it back. I'll meet you in downward dog whenever we arrive. However you get there, you might go down. And then heart opens. And back to downward facing dog. You skip whatever you need to. One more exhale here. Let it be a good one. Left leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward. High lunge, inhale, lift those inner thighs. Stay lifted, exhale, twist left. Inhale, back to face the front. Stay low and turned out, warrior two. Then inhale, straighten the legs, turn to the long side. Exhale, skandasana, side lunge. Try to keep that back heel down. Inhale, two straight legs, lift it up in the middle. Shift the hips, shift the feet, come over, triangle pose. Inhale, arm reaches up and over, tailbone away from fingers. Exhale, down into that lunge. Inhale, left arm lifts. Little scooch. Exhale, sunrise, moonrise. We've got that twisty lunge, lift it up and over, pivot, step, fold, breathe. Halfway up, inhale. The heart is the half. Exhale, lower. Inhale all the way up. Lift the fronts of the hips too. Hands at the heart. Let's stay here for a full round of breath. And then on your next inhale, lift those arms up. Exhale, forward fold. Halfway up, breathe in. Exhale, hands down, left leg steps back. Two strong feet, heart forward, breathe in. Exhale, step it back. You can go through that whole flow. You can come back maybe to child's pose for a moment. Maybe you do a couple of cat and cow. Maybe you're following me awkwardly because you're not sure what that flow was. I'll do it again every time, but maybe you didn't have any ideas of what else you could do. So that's where that stuff is. And then we'll find ourselves in down dog, right? Go ahead and relax your ears off of your shoulders because it feels nice. And then inhale, reach your right leg up. Look forward. Exhale, step the right foot to the front of your mat. All the way up, breathe in, high lunge. Exhale, twisting to the right. Inhale, back to the center. Stay low, exhale, warrior two. Shift the feet, come out wide, lift up, inhale. Exhale, side lunge. Inhale, back to the center. Shift the hips, the feet, triangle pose, long spine. Arm reaches over, inhale. Exhale, shifting those feet again, bent knee up on the toes. Inhale, right arm lifts. Pop it forward, turn the toes out, drop the hips down. Inhale, reach it up and over, curling in, stepping up into a fold. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, soften down. All the way up, big breath in. Exhale, hands at your heart. Lifting up again, inhale. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, long spine. Exhale, right foot steps back. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, do whatever you want. Maybe it's stepping back into plank. Maybe it's opening the chest here. Exhaling, halfway down. Inhale, upward dog, open chest, lift your belly. Exhale, downward facing dog. Pushing the armpits into widespread fingertips. Breathe in. Exhale, let something go. Left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, step it forward. High lunge, breathe in. Twisting as you breathe out. Inhale, back to the center, to the front. Exhale, open it to warrior two. A lot of foot wigglies. Inhale, two straight legs, face the side. Exhale, skandasana. Inhale, back to this high pyramid, this high triangle. And then shift the feet, extending forward into triangle pose, ears away from tail. Inhale, right arm lifts up and over, nice long side stretch. Exhale, hand down, bend the knee, pop up on the back toes. Inhale, twist. Exhale, pop forward, twist it deeper. Adjust earbud. And then inhale, reach it up and over, pivot the feet, step forward into a fold. Halfway up, breathe in. Exhale, soften it down. All the way up, inhale. Exhale, hands at your heart. Hang out here for a moment. In fact, let's drop the arms down into Tadasana. So just letting the palms face forward. We're going to go through this sequence one more time. It's a lot. This is a long flow today. So knowing that maybe there's like one or two poses in there that would feel a little bit better for you to hang out in for a while. Skip some other things, maybe take a longer child's pose and get there sooner. Whatever you gotta do, you can do all of that. I'm gonna cue through the poses, you meet up, you take what you like. Let out your exhale. Inhale, reach the arms up. Fold forward, exhale. Halfway up, breathe in. Exhale, hands down, left leg steps back. Long spine, inhale. Exhale, plank pose. Set it up, open the chest, breathe in. Exhale, forward and halfway down. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward dog. Push those hips up in the air with your armpits. Push those hands down on the floor with your armpits. Inhale, right leg lifts. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, high lunge. Exhale, twist right. Inhale, face the front. Exhale, warrior two. Straighten the legs. Inhale, turn it open. Exhale, Skandasana, side lunge. Inhale, lift it up to the center again. Shift the feet, shift the hips. Exhale, triangle pose. Inhale, arm lifts up and over. Exhale, moving it into the lunge. Inhale, right arm opens. A little pop forward. Exhale, drop those hips down. Inhale, up and over. Curving it forward into a fold, 2 feet down, head relaxes, exhale. Halfway up, breathe in. Exhale, soften it down. All the way up, inhale. Hands to the heart, exhale. Let's keep pushing through. Inhale, lift the arm. Forward fold, exhale. Halfway up, breathe in, long neck. Hands down, exhale, step the right foot back. Inhale, heart lifts. Exhale, stepping it back, plank pose. Inhale, heart opens. Exhale, bringing it down. Inhale, heart opens again. Exhale, pressing it back. Big breath in. Big loud sigh. Left leg lifts, inhale. Exhale, stepping it forward. High lunge, breathe in. Lift those inner thighs, twist to the left, breathe out. Inhale, up into the front. Exhale, warrior two. High pyramid, turn it all to the side, inhale. Exhale, Skandasana, side lunge. Inhale, bring it back up to the center. Exhale, shift the feet and the hips, long spine out in a triangle. Inhale, right arm extends over. Exhale, move to the lunge. Inhale, arm lifts. Exhale, hop it up, drop the hips down. You gotta turn those toes out, watch your knee. Inhale, up and over, curl it in, step forward and fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, folding down. Inhale, all the way up. And then hands come down at your heart. Return the palms down by your sides, facing forward in Tadasana. Taking a moment to scan the body, feeling all 4 corners of the feet pressed down, the fronts of the hips lifted, the bottoms of the ribs soften. The shoulder blades get wider on your back as the collarbones grow wider in your front. See if you can let your eyeballs rest into the back of your head to soften any strain in the eyes. We're going to move through our flow one more time, coming back to downward dog and then child's pose. So if you are push-up chaturanga out and you want to just mosey on back to child's pose, that's what you do. For one more flow through, inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, halfway up, breathe in. Plant the hands, step both feet back into plank pose. Feel your heart getting wider, breathe in. Exhale, chest stays open as you lower. Inhale, up dog, broaden those collarbones. Press the hips up and back, downward facing dog. Stay here, breathe in. And breathe out. And lower the knees, bring them a little wider. Let's settle back into child's pose. And your child's pose might have your hips like way up here and they're not back at your heels, and that is absolutely fine. You work with what you need. If your knees need you to instead lay flat on your belly, please do that. If you are in child's pose, wiggle your fingers a little bit further in front of you to find a little bit more space in your spine, curling your tailbone downwards towards your toes, even if it's nowhere near your toes. If you're on your belly flat, just wiggle your leg bones back so you're maybe a little bit more spacious in your midsection. Breathing in. Breathing out. Start to walk your hands in. We'll come up to a seat. Ooh, hot fluffy bangs. Go ahead and swing your legs out in front of you. And I will actually, I might as well just do it. So if you find it difficult to sit up straight like this, if you feel like your back is tight or your hamstrings are tight, if you sit like halfway up on something, it tilts your pelvis forward. Like I find it fine to sit without this, but with this, like I can hang out here for days, 10 days. So it's not all the way under my butt. You can see it's only under like that back half of my butt. So you can always work with that in any of these forward fold or extended places just to give yourself a boost. I'll do left side so that I'm bringing that out to face you. You're gonna tuck this leg in. You might leave it there or you might cross it over the right leg. Lift your right toes, hug onto the side. You wanna think of drawing it into the center, just stretch this outer side more, and then this hand is gonna come in nice and close. Lift your ears, breathe in. Exhale, soften your belly, maybe even relaxing your left ribs down slightly. Big breath in. Soft belly, breathe out. And release your twist. Unwind the leg if it was wound up. You're going to bring this foot into the inside of your right thigh. Notice I scooch my right thigh a little bit further forward. You're going to come forward over this leg, nice and relaxed, which means that you're not going to tell yourself some crazy story about your worthiness that hinges on your ability to fold forward. You're not going to tell yourself a crazy story about whether or not you're ever going to be able to fold forward. In fact, I will retell the story again. I had a guy in a yoga community who's coming in. He's like, I feel very inflexible, but I like this yoga thing. So I'm going to tell everybody I know. He tells one buddy, he's like, dude, yoga, you got to do the thing. And his buddy's like, I can't do the thing. I can't touch my toes. And the guy's like, no, it's cool. I can't touch my toes either. And he just flops over and ends up with his hands on his feet out of nowhere. He's like, holy crap, I didn't even realize I was changing so much. And sometimes it just happens. You'd be surprised. Go ahead and relax with one more exhale. And start to lift yourself back up. The guy didn't force himself in like the way you heard. He's just like, oh, look at that. I happen to be able to touch my feet. It was funny. Okay, take your other leg up. And then we're gonna draw this right one in. Maybe you cross it over. Keep your right hand in nice and close. Hug on with your left thigh. You're drawing this in the center line a little bit. Keep your left toes lifted. Lift the spine, soften the belly as you twist. Relax your right collarbone. Your right ribs might drop down and open a little bit more. One more exhale. Release your twist. Unwind the leg, bring it on the inside of your leg, and then you're gonna draw yourself forward. My right hamstring is not pleased with me, and I don't go as far forward these days. I just try to find a place to soften so as not to further traumatize it. So you find a place to soften. To give your body permission to relax. Some good positive juju that it has the capability of doing so, and then you might be surprised what comes up. When you don't write yourself a limiting story or a harming story. When we show up and are present in the reality of the situation. Choosing what and how we want to focus ourselves on. It's not putting your head on your leg, it's relaxing your back, relaxing your hammy. One more breath out. And start to lift yourself up. If you've been sitting up on anything, go ahead and scooch it to the side. If it's going to be helpful to you in Shavasana or not a final rest, make sure you could grab onto it again. You're going to come forward here with your hips, but bring your hands behind you, fingertips facing forward. You're going to push down into your hands until your heart starts to float up into the front of your rib cage. Draw your elbows back. It's okay if the hands are facing out a little bit, but try not to have them out too much. And now soften your jaw, seeing if that helps to be able to open the heart a little more. I find a soft throat makes a big difference. One more exhale. And then soften. Come down now onto your elbows, palms facing towards your hips. You're going to scooch on your belly until your tailbone points down, and then pop your heart open into fish pose. You can let your head go back if you like. Broaden those collarbones. One more inhale. Soften the heart down. Exhale. Soften your heart all the way down onto the floor. And then start to bring your knees into your chest. Give yourself a little wiggle side to side. And start to open your arms out in a way that is comfortable to you. Drop your knees over towards the right in a way that is comfortable to you, which means you might wiggle them a little further away from your body. You might let that top leg slide out a little bit more. You want to think of that soft belly. Maybe you wiggle your right shoulder to release the left shoulder a bit more. Start to let go of the control of your breath. One more exhale. And bringing your knees over towards the other side, making adjustments to find a space that works well on your body. Maybe you wiggle the left shoulder to release the right side a bit more. One more round of breath. And coming back to the center. Letting your hips settle into the mat, letting your knees knock against each other. Start to bring your arms down by your sides. Have a small snuggle of your shoulder blades together, so don't jam them, but or draw them in a little bit. It tends to allow the heart to be a bit softer, more expansive. This constructive rest can feel nice for the back. Sometimes it's better to extend the legs out into that traditional corpse pose. Feel free to take any other modification for rest. Maybe you sit in a chair, curl on your side, put a pillow somewhere. We'll take the next couple of minutes just to be easy on ourselves, to be with the breath, the tunes, before we come back together again and wrap up. Start to come back to your body. Taking some deeper breaths. Maybe make some small movements in your fingers and toes to draw you back in. It can feel nice to take a nice long stretch overhead, reaching out long through the body. When you're ready, curl over to one side, drawing yourself inwards, taking this moment of gratitude for making it to practice today, for being able to share this pretty rad thing together. Starting to come up into your own version of a comfortable seat, sitting however it makes sense to you. No worries about whatever shape me or anybody else are making. If you'd like to unmute yourself for Om, you might go ahead and click that over, or don't worry about it. Draw your hands to your heart. Let your heart continue to open, to lift. We seal our practice with an Om. Deep breath in. Bowing down to the light and the darkness within us, the love in each of our hearts. Namaste. Thanks for being here, everybody. wonderful days. Thank you so much for popping by. We've got Sunday class 2. My PayPal is up, and if you need other details or whatever works better for you, I think PayPal is becoming like kind of weird, but that's my thing. I know, no, Kat already popped out. Okay, yeah, so if you are, I think everybody else here is not from the Australian place, so okay, cool. Thank you all so much. Thanks, Maribel. Let me know if you have any questions. I put the playlist up because sometimes I'm really bad at that, so always ask me if I put the playlist up. I did put the playlist up. And yeah, sit down. And I'll put the video up on the YouTube channel within the next day. So good. Have wonderful days. Have a good week. Thank you. Bye.